Hi, everyone. This is episode 13, my summary about the features of the people from Wuhan, additional 4 supplemental features, and my stories. Before I start introducing the supplemental features, I would simply tell you about a story when I was a primary school kid. At that time, my peers often called their biological father as old spy, in Chinese, 老客. I spent a long time to figure out the meaning of old spy. Maybe it means the fathers in Wuhan are long-term being regarded as senior, experienced, or top-level spies. Does that imply the city of Wuhan is the top spy city in China? That's a good question. One of the first feature I will supplement is about the people of Wuhan are often taking advantage of others to get money, free labor, free benefits without reciprocating. For example, my previous friends often want to use the printer in my home to print documents for them for free. But at the same time, they would try to reduce helping me in a similar fashion. The second feature I would supplement is that the people from Wuhan normally never show their gratitude to people who help them. From my own personal experience, I have been used as an object for their human experimentation for many years. They didn't get my agreement and never paid me a penny. So actually, that's why I always need to report to the local agencies to get support, because I feel it's quite disgusting and extremely evil to be experimented by a group of unknown researchers or scientists, or even people who are doing organ harvesting business. It's quite awful to be always stalked and traced, or even being severely targeted by those people. But the point of this feature is to show that the people from Wuhan normally want to get other people's help, but at the same time, they would never show their gratitude, or they don't want to pay for anything to the people who help them or who are tortured by them. The number 3 feature I would supplement is about that people from Wuhan see money and power as God. They would see other things, such as the religious belief or good behavior, well-performed people, as unnecessary or unimportant. They would only do whatever cost they can do to gain more money and power, even they want to control the whole world. The number 4 feature I want to supplement is related to the secret or top-level secret agency in China, that is Wuhan Institute of Virology. I would say Wuhaners they tie themselves extremely tight to this institute. Why? I feel extremely suspicious. Why Wuhaners kept stalking me for many years wherever I am? Why some Wuhaners can't live without me? Did they do secret experiments on my brain and body? Why they deliberate create brain tumors and tumors to my organs? And why Wuhan dialect V2K followed me in the US, UK, and China? Did my stalkers carry speakers to intentionally force me to hear the V2K? Why they kept collecting my stool each day in the public toilets? I feel extremely suspicious about their secret experimentation. I doubted that they might already expand their objects of study from Chinese to the civilians in other nations globally. Now I want to summarize some of my life stories, which seemed weird, and I might not be able to get good explanation so far. The first story is that from my childhood until college, the people around me, including my family members, my step-parents, and my school teachers, want to hide me from being known by the public or others on purpose. During my primary school time, my Chinese articles written by myself were always received high ratings, and each time after the teacher graded the articles we handed in, I often got extremely high grades, and the teacher would ask me to read my article in front of the whole class. In one Monday, during a China flag raising ceremony, I accidentally found my article was read by one of the most beautiful ladies in my previous class without my consent. Why they did that in such a way, in such a weird way, without letting me know earlier? Instead of praising me, my Chinese teacher suddenly reached out to me after that lady's presentation in front of the whole campus. My teacher asked me, "Did you find out the mistakes in your article?" I felt shocking and could not answer a word, because I plan to say, "Why you didn't ask me if I agree to let my classmate read it in public? Nobody asked me. Nobody got my agreement. But why they keep trying to force me to find errors in my writing?" I didn't find an answer, but I had a feeling that I was discriminated against. And why they keep hiding me from being shown in public? Another story is related to my MPV injection at LSU in 2020 or 2021. At that time, my stepmom strongly encouraged me to take to take a MPV vaccination for female. At the last injection I took, a weird female nurse used her full body force to press the syringe and introduced unbearable pain on my upper arm during the injection. After the injection, the bandage on my arm showed obvious blood traces, which means the procedure of injection is almost looking like a tiny surgery. Did the nurse implant a chip on my arm? Or what kind of things they did install in my arm during the injection? I don't know what their purpose was. The third story I would share is about one of the weird body phenomena I keep experiencing all over my life, the sudden nose bleeding. From my primary school to undergraduate school in Wuhan, I kept having the sudden nose bleeding. Sometimes, if it's hard to stop, the people around me would send me to the nearby clinic or hospital to stop the nose bleeding. I doubted some people might use radiation or brain control devices to deliberately introduce such nose bleeding when I was stationary in a room. And in 2023 to 2024, when I was working with my last employer at workplace, when I used female toilets, I could feel some unknown people use male's toilets when I was using the female toilet. Some of them might use handheld or portable radiation devices to cause me to have sudden nose bleeding at that time. But I feel it's extremely weird that nose bleeding happened just several seconds, then it stopped abruptly by itself. What the purpose of that experimentation is? And in 2022 to 2024, when I was working in Colorado, I saw weird neighbors who looked like masked Wuhaners. They look like white and black people. But actually, when I started analyzing my situation at that time recently, I realized that they might be highly likely Wuhaners who might be associated with Wuhan Institute of Virology. And did they do secret experiments during my sleep? I have no idea, because at that time I lived by myself. So if something or someone entered my room during my sleep, I have no idea. And in 2023 to 2024, they even sent a Chinese male aged around 32 years old to live at my adjacent room in Colorado. And during my sleep at my room, I experienced the body injuries and saw the injuries near my abdomen area while feeling the intense pain in my internal organ. They also infiltrated into my understairs neighbor's room to directly radiate my brain during my sleep. In order to reduce the radiation, I had to build a stainless steel container while putting the lead sheets around me or beneath me to reduce radiation attack, to reduce the impacts of radiation attack. But unfortunately, I still got brain tumor in 2024 due to the intense radiation exposure. Did they try to enlarge or upgrade their scale of experiments to include tumor cancer studies or artificial uterus or brain weapon, direct energy weapon, gene therapy, or secret war plans? I have no idea. I feel they keep doing weird things to my woman's organ, when they force to confine me in mental hospital or in the detention center at the police stations. They deliberately use the spy technology, such as the entrapment, to force me to live at those weird places. I could feel my woman's organ was touched by unknown person before I woke up in the morning. But I could not protect myself during my sleep. But I could imagine they might do secret surgery or certain kind of secret experiments inside my woman's organ or other places, including my brains, for certain secret studies. I would invite all the experts, scientists from different countries to brainstorm and think about what kind of secret studies the Wuhaners have been secretly engaging. Are they trying to do crazy things to make more people become slaves or manipulate the whole world? Are they trying to destroy more people like me, such as the ISIS woman or the extremely intelligent scientists, researchers, for their evil human experiment-based brain control or brain weapon study or superhuman being creation plan? I have no idea. In July 2024, when I reached out to a global law enforcement agency in New Orleans after I experienced potential kidnapping situation, I reached out to them for the support. The first officer I met there, he knew I reached out to their branch in Colorado before. Because I kept seeing unknown white trucks and suspicious people follow me day and night when I was in New Orleans in 2024. Although I rented a room in downtown, I could only live there for less than a week, then left there even having no time to pack my personal belongings. Due to being continuously stalked and radiated by unknown people, I now almost felt certain those people might be Wuhaners who are associated with Wuhan Institute of Virology. And after experiencing the poisoning situation, I went to the emergency room to take the CT scanning. And later, I reached out to that global law enforcement agency again. One of the officers mentioned to me that I have brain tumor, but to my surprise, he didn't provide any safety tips to me, such as where can I safely live or stay, which hospital is trustworthy. And as I keep experiencing the challenging situations from US to UK, I would ask myself, were the officers I talked to in that global law enforcement agency in New Orleans, or Wuhaners were all the officers who took charge of my cases, or Wuhaners, or being substituted by Wuhaners. I had no idea, but feel extremely concerning. And with current world situation, I feel the secret agencies like Wuhan Institute of Virology, they are gradually expanding their scale of experimentation. Not only they chose the Chinese, they also chose people from different nations, especially the extremely high intelligence people, wherever they come from or wherever they are. With this severe and enlarged scale of human experimentations, are civilians safe to see doctors in hospitals? Should we avoid taking surgery to prevent being organ harvested? Should we stop taking medication to avoid being monitored or experimented as rats? Sometimes they can replace your medication with their tested drugs to make you as a test object for their studies, even without letting you know the situation. And this is the end of my recording for today's topic. If you have any comments, please let me know. Thank you. May God bless you all.